Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this special figure showcase and review we're going to be looking at the Fans Toys 55. This is Recorder, which is a third-party masterpiece take on Blaster. So what we're going to do with this video, we're going to have a look at the entire contents of the packaging. I'm going to show you the box and everything in a second. We're going to have a detailed look at him in both of his modes to help you decide how you want to display him. We are of course going to compare him to the original Generation 1 figure itself, which I'm sure you can see there. You'll be quite surprised. The original one is a very big figure. We're going to have a look, as I say, at the cassette that comes with him, and indeed everything else that's in there, and do some more comparisons as well. So let's start off with looking at the packaging. Now hopefully I can just about fit this in. The boxes, I've got to confess, they are lovely. They do come very nice. I've got to be completely honest. There's a nice sheen on them, exactly as you'd expect, to be honest, with a masterpiece or I suppose scale figure. So he's called Recorder because obviously Fans Toys aren't licensed by Hasbro or Takara, so they're not allowed to call them by the proper names. So we've got some product images there on the back, and then we've got some other product images there, I suppose, showcasing a lot of the accessories that I'm going to show you in a second inside the packaging. There is a write-up here, so what I'm going to suggest you do is, if you slow this down and mute me, you can have a read of this for yourself at your own leisure. So there you go. That's going to give you the opportunity to read that. They come packaged in these polystyrene boxes inside there, so all nice and safe, all nice and secure. As you can see, we've got the large speakers there so we can recreate the scenes from the cartoons. We've got a comic book head. We've got the little blasters to the cassette. We've got some more faces, which I'm going to show you in a second. Inside that slot there was the cassette, and of course he was, as you can see, packaged in there in robot mode, so all nicely packaged up. Again, brilliant packaging, well protected, lovely looking. Right, very quickly before we have a look at the actual figure, so he's got this book, which I always call them books because the instructions are huge on these, but it's not too tough. I should be able to get a transformation process video up for you, and of course 2 collector's cards as well. Again, a perfect, I always say homage, but it's not. It's a rip-off, obviously, of Takara original figures. And I'm going to pop them there. So let's start off with looking at, if I'm being completely honest, it is very impressive. Now, the first thing that I notice with this, it's just the sheer weight of that. And that's because there's so many die-cast parts on this. It really is incredibly weighty. I think it looks, you know, it looks the part. You can perhaps tell when I twist it up like that, that it's perhaps a little bit more intricate, well, than you would expect. Obviously, loads more intricate than, of course, the original. I've already quickly attached that to the back. So this is his blaster that was in one of the other boxes. And again, it's just to show you that you can store that on the back if you wanted to. So you just fold the blaster bit down. There's a large tab there, and that would indeed fit on there. To be fair, the rest of it is all pretty much, there's not too many gaps. It's not too bad. It's quite hard, I think, nowadays for companies to make a blaster and a Soundwave without the gaps and have the articulation and the intricacy, of course, which you would, I suppose, desire. It looks good though, and as I say, it definitely does serve its purpose. Right, let me see which one of these opens that. Now, the interesting thing I've just found out, purely fluke, funny enough, let me get the cassette. Let's open this up, and again, this just feels incredibly weighty. So there's obviously a load of die cast on this. Again, these are my first impressions on a figure that I haven't, as I say, all I've done is manage to transform him, so this is completely new to me. I've not watched any videos on it, but what has startled me is this. The cassettes are pretty much Generation 1 size exact, maybe just a fraction wider, I'm not too sure. But what I definitely want to show you is this part here. So you can push this back like so, and then you can press this button there, and then this will send that forward. So this is obviously so you can store more than one cassette in. So we can pop the official cassette in, push that back, and then, to be honest, what I can do, let me open this up again. Which one is it that opens it? I thought it was this end one. Yes, it is. But as with, I don't know why, you can see it just gets stuck. But if I can push that back. I can then slot that in, and then I would imagine, yep, slot in. Will a G1 go in? Yeah, there you go, perfect. So there's 2 cassettes that fit in, no issue whatsoever. And now, of course, I need to shoot that forward, so press the button at the back. That should have shunted that into there, and magically it's made it pop out much easier. So if you compare it to the original G1, do you know what, I think size wise, okay, so the Fans Toys is, I mean, fractionally, we're talking 3-4 millimeters maximum longer than it. It's obviously got loads more, in fact it's got loads of die cast parts, not loads more. I don't think there's any on here. I think the only metal on this is in fact from the screws, but of course the G1's quite flush all at the back because of course it was as basic as it is. But quite surprisingly, it's, you know, it's not much bigger than the original, and I suppose it just goes to show how much, well, how big the original figure was, to be honest. Right, that is the alternate mode. There's not much more to say about it. Most of the viewers who are watching this, especially if you're younger, might not even know what the alternate mode is. This is of course an old cassette tape player, and yeah, this was his alternate mode. So let's come back and have a look at him in his robot mode. Okay, so we're back and he's in his robot mode. Quick apologies, no transformation process on this video. That is to keep the length of the video down, and the other reason is because I'm going to be uploading a tutorial separately as well, so you can watch it if you want to. And as with pretty much all Fans Toys and Masterpiece style figures anyway, it is a quite long-winded process, so yeah, it does take up loads and loads of time. Right, let's have a look at the figure itself though, because to be fair, it is still very impressive. And I already mentioned the weight in the first part, and the good thing about that is most of the weight is now in the legs. So obviously that's a really good thing because it means that he's not going to topple over. Articulation wise, let's start at the top then. So we've got the really good looking head. What I mean by that is it looks exactly like what you want it to. As I did say, there is a comic book one, which I'll show you in a second how we transform that, or sorry, change it over. The head itself, full articulation, looks up and down, as you can see, spins around as well. Shoulders will come right out. You'll get full T with that. You'll get all the way around on ratchets, which you can hear. There's a swivel, is there a swivel? Yes, there is. I thought there was. On the shoulder, there's obviously bicep flexion. If I can balance him up there again, you'll see that there's full articulation on these hands, literally right down to the knuckles. So there's at least 3 points of articulation on the fingers and on the thumbs, which is crazy, as well of course as the wrist swivel. There is not the waist swivel, and that's purely again due to how you need him in the alternate mode. But what it does, it allows you to, it's the top of the torso, and you can get a full rotation there. You just won't be able to spin it there because obviously that's going to be the bottom of the tape. Right, there are ratchets on the legs as well. This comes just right up. You can see it kicks way past the 90, which is brilliant. However, not that you're going to balance him like that. He does become very unbalanced due to the weight that's in these legs. It'll only kick that far back because then it's hindered by this whole part there, to be honest. But as I say, with the kick forward, you're not going to need any more. You've got the swivel at the top of the thigh, you've got the knee bend, again, all them ratchets, you've got full ankle tilt and rock in the feet. So with regards to articulation, it's exactly what you'd expect for a Masterpiece figure, in honesty. But the detail on it again is spectacular. I love the translucent plastic in there, so you can, as I say, if you wanted to keep the cartridges in, I'll just put a G1 steel jaw in again because he fits no problem whatsoever. We'll have a quick look. I love the fact that they've called him fast forward, obviously, instead of rewind. We'll have a look at him in a second. And yeah, look, just to the tiny little bits of detail, just make him look, as I say, really good. That's lovely reflective metallic red dots there, which is great. Of course, I'm going to bring in the main one, sorry, the original G1 figure in a minute, so you can have a look at that. I think I said comic book head, but looking at that now, it's wow, the original one's taller. Was not expecting that, to be honest. It is. I know it was. Wow, it is. There you go. Right, in fact, we might as well have a quick comparison of that while he's there then. So you can see just how well they've managed to not only improve it, but of course replicate it now with this. And again, I've got to apologize, and that's what's taken me long with the transformation process. I don't know if I've lost it, or I don't know if it didn't come with it, because this was very kindly gifted for me to do a review from Aaron Cummings, and I'm just missing this bit on the side. I don't know if it was missing in the box or if I've just mislaid it at the minute. But with regards to how it looks, you know, you can just see the difference. It's so so much of an improvement. It's just brilliant, to be honest. The gun as well, if you have a look at the original Generation 1 gun, and then we have a look at this particular one, it's a great homage to it. It hasn't got the full circle there though, but everything else is pretty much exactly as it should be. And the reason for that, of course, is because this folds up, as you saw when it was stored on his back. Right, that's as I say, let's do a very quick, I'm sure it's the same button as well that opens this. In fact, I'm not going to risk it with a G1 blaster, but you can see there the, I suppose, comparison, the homage, and whatever other word you want to use to just show you how much it looks just like that. What I'm going to do very quickly while I've got these fists folded over, and the reason for that is this, you can then slot these, I say very easily, watch them not go over now. There you go, slot over the fists like so. And of course, as I've said, you can recreate, I've forgotten the episode number, but again, we all remember, to be fair, he does it a few times, doesn't he? I'm sure he does inside the cartoon. There's also this bit here which slides out to give you more articulation and more movement. And as you can see there with the light reflecting off them, they're really, really shiny. And it's just, again, just another brilliant touch. I like the fact that all companies do things like this. They have just an absolute abundance of accessories that come with Masterpiece figures, so you can do that, so you can recreate loads and loads of scenes. Right, let's show you how to change the full head first and foremost. So if we're going to take the whole head, that folds up, this then slides out. Ooh. Let's slide this out, and then of course this is, yeah, I'm not sure if it's comic book or G1 toy, but you can see it looks right. Is it going to come apart for me? It should do. There we go. So it's going to fold open. We're going to slide that over there, close that up. I'm not going to fully press it in because I'll probably never get it off. But there you go, there's his other appearance. Is that just fitting in? Yeah, there you go, just fitting in on screen. Whereas what I'll do now, while that's there, I'll show you how to change the face on the other one ready. So you just pop that out there. Again, this is, I think, pretty much industry standard now. And definitely on all the Fans Toys figures that I've started to review, it's all the same at the moment with taking these faces off. Now, as I showed you in the beginning as well, not individually though, there's loads. I probably should have took them all out ready as well, to be fair. So let's have a quick look at the ones that we've got. So we've got Smiling, perhaps a little more sincere, Happy Laughing, Yelling, pretty angry. So I don't know, let's just let's put on a yelling one. So we've clipped that into position there, and then, as I say, we'll take this back off, slide this out, slide this over, and clip that on. So there we go, that's how you change the faces, as simple as that. Let's move this out of the way. And again, with it being, I think this is pretty much exactly the same as Takara as well, in honesty, with regards to the attachments for how it fits in the hand. Yeah, there's a big cutout there that will pop in there first and foremost. In fact, I need to move the thumb, bring the thumb down and over, put this into there. Everything is really hard with larger figures. Reaching around the camera just makes things really awkward. I respect everybody who does Masterpiece figure reviews or giant figure reviews, because it's really difficult. Right, there we go, there's his blaster. Let's turn that around. I've even got the trigger finger cocked, which I suppose makes it look even better. I'm just looking at this. Is that an ab tilt? A little bit of one, not too much, to be honest, just a little bit of one. Right, before we do some comparisons with him, we need to have a look at fast forward, they've called him, which of course it is rewind. This guy's brilliant as well. He's got full articulation in his head, he's got articulation in the shoulders, they're ball and sockets. He's got a swivel in the, no, he hasn't got a swivel, he's got bicep flexion. He's got little, now the only thing that's, I'm not nitpicking, I'm just obviously pointing things out. With this being the size it's at, there's quite a few gaps because everything with a cassette folds over itself. So obviously the heads come out of there and they are folded up around the side. But what's interesting is the legs, these are die cast, the chest is die cast, the shoulders are die cast. So it's metal, it's heavy, and it's, you know, it's sturdy and robust because of that. He also comes with this tiny little gun that, funnily enough, also splits into two, and this is actually stored in his leg, when he's in the cassette mode. And again, lovely reflective, bright gold plastic. So there are the two figures together. Right, let's see if I can create some space and bring some figures in to do some comparisons. So unfortunately and quite typically, I've sold my Takara Masterpiece Soundwave, so I can't put him next to him, but I can put him next to Takara Sound Blaster. So obviously you just got to imagine him being blue, and that is how he would scale and look with the Soundwave Masterpiece figure. So he's fractionally bigger, to be honest, but as you saw by the original G1 figure, he was always a big figure anyway. Right, I've got a few other figures here just to give you an idea of size. So some of the newer Masterpieces from Takara, there is Shuki, and then funnily enough, this guy is really small now compared to Blaster. So there is Crosscut, and of course that means skids, etc., is going to be the exact same size as well. Right, with regards to some mainline figures, he's easily as big. Oh days, do I keep that in? No, I've got to stop now, haven't I? No, do you know what? Carry on. He's easily as big as a Dreadwing, and like so. Thankfully they were just empty boxes and it's not caused too much damage, so he's, you know, way bigger than the leader class figure. This again, I suppose, just highlights the problem that I've got with the larger figures in this review setup, but it hasn't, you know, it didn't knock the main figure over, so I'm going to carry on regardless. There's a Voyager class. This is where it's really showing how much bigger he is than him. Right, with regards to some other quick third-party company figures, these are going to be absolutely tiny to him. I'm going to stick a core class in just to give you an idea. That's a New Age Prime, that's a Magic Square, and that is an Iron Factory. So obviously they will not scale with them at all, but if you're thinking about venturing into the Masterpiece scale, that's to give you an idea of just how big they are. So if you're wondering why I do so many comparisons, to be fair, I've had quite a few nice comments recently, exactly that. I'll bring up every single toy that I've got, you know, manufacturer, and indeed the sizes, just to give people an idea. I know somebody said thank you for that the other day because they wanted to see a Masterpiece next to a mainline figure, just to give them an idea. But anyway, guys, I think apart from very quickly bringing him to show you the main differences, you know, these guys were good, they served their purpose, but these are in a completely different league for a number of reasons. So I hope I've given him a good enough showcase. I'm really impressed with him, to be honest, and as I say, bear with me while I get the transformation process video uploaded as well. In the meantime, guys, there is Fans Toys 55 Recorder, which is their take on a Masterpiece Blaster figure. Let me know what you think in the comments. Take care.